Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Pleb from Citizens Esports. Today I have a tutorial for you guys on how to actually adjust the colors for like Overwatch heroes, like Legends from Apex Legends. Basically how to adjust the colors on those guys to accurately represent your organization or your team, whatever it may be. I'm always on Twitter. I see a lot of people using like heroes and legends, stuff like that for like win graphics, loss graphics, roster reveals, whatever it may be. I see a lot of people using them, and a lot of people use different techniques that I can tell. So I just wanted to go over two techniques that I usually use when doing it and how to accurately achieve your end goal. So yeah, let's just kind of jump right into it. So I have a canvas here. I drag Baptiste in. You can see over here, this is my BAP layer. I'm going to rename this to BAP. With this selected and rasterized, if it's still unrasterized, come in here, right click, just hit rasterize layer. That'll allow this layer to be editable. So what we're going to do is, with that selected, we're going to go to image adjustments, and we're going to go to replace color. So before we adjust any of this, you kind of want to look at BAP, and you kind of want to see what colors you want to replace with your own colors. So I know that I want to use the beige in the Citizens palette, as well as the maroon in the Citizens palette as well. So I know that the beige and the orange closely resemble each other, so I'm going to be adjusting the orange to a beige. And I'm going to be adjusting the turquoise, or this teal here, to the maroon as well. The dark grays, the light grays, the medium grays, all the neutrals and everything can pretty much stay for the sake of the tutorial, just because the Citizens palette utilizes a lot of those colors. But yeah, so hitting the replace color is going to bring up this little box here, this little window. So the first thing you're going to see is a couple eye drop tools. You're going to see a color box here, this black box, and a couple sliders down here. What the black box is showing you, it's showing you the selection of the color that you're going to be replacing. So for example, if I hit the box and I select BAP's face, it's going to show you all the colors within the BAP's image with that color selected. Same with the orange, same with the turquoise, same with the gray, whatever it may be. You can see that there's a lot of colors like that throughout the image, but this is mainly due to the fuzziness slider. If we turn the fuzziness slider down, you can see that the selection gets tighter. If we turn it up, you can see that it's pretty much the whole image. But a happy medium ground, I would say, is just leaving this at 100. So the first color I'm going to select is going to be the teal here, because I want to adjust this teal to a maroon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust part of the teal. Now you don't want to or I'm going to select part of the teal. You don't want to select the darkest teal color, and you don't want to select the lightest part. You kind of want to select a medium range. So I'm going to come in here, select this. I'm just going to hit OK. From here, you're going to want to hit add to sample, and then you're going to want to start adjusting the hue. Now you can see as you adjust this slider, it's going to start to adjust the overall color of that selection that you made without adjusting any of the neutrals, without adjusting any of the skin or anything like that. So yeah, so for the sake of the tutorial, I want this to be a red or a dark maroon. So we're going to adjust that to -180. We're going to pump the saturation up just a bit. Now you don't want to go overboard with the saturation, because you'll see the saturation will start to bleed into like his stomach, his hands, stuff like that. So you're going to want to probably leave it around 30, just about. And then since this is going to be a darker red, I'm going to bring the lightness down as well, just so we get that nice, that wine color in there for BAP. Great, well that looks really good. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring the lightness up just a tad, and I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Awesome, so the second part of BAP I want to adjust is going to be this orange port here around his neck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to image, adjustments, replace color yet again. This time selecting a medium orange, so right here in the center should be OK. We're going to hit OK. And then since this is already very close to being the beige color that I needed to, I'm going to just adjust the hue just a bit to more of like a yellow. We're going to turn the saturation down, and then we're going to turn the lightness up. So what this is going to do is it's going to pull out the beige color a little bit more. And I like that, and we're going to hit add to sample as well, and then we're going to hit OK. Awesome, so now you can see that we have our color is pretty much good to go on BAP. I have them over here just because when I'm zoomed in, I want you guys to be able to see the window better. But yeah, you can see that the colors look really well. You can still see some blue shine over here as well as some blue shine down here. But that's easily adjustable, and I'll show you guys how to do that right now. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to bring up the same thing we've just been in, adjustments, replace color. This time you're going to want to select that color, hit OK, and now you can pretty much adjust that to the same thing. So when you come into hue, you can bump the saturation up, you can turn the lightness down, stuff like that. So that'll adjust it. However, I don't really want to mess with the hue as much. I kind of just want to desaturate that since it is a reflection. So to do that, all I'm going to do is I'm going to select that. I'm going to leave the hue, but I'm just going to desaturate it and maybe turn the lightness either up or down, and then just hit OK. So that's going to basically eliminate the color from the reflection. We're not necessarily changing the color of the reflection, we're just taking it out. Same with this piece over here. You can do that too. However, this is going to segue into my next technique that I like to use, and that's just using selections essentially. So with your BAP layer still selected, you're going to want to come into the pen tool, or select the pen tool rather, and you're going to want to create a section around a color that you're going to want to adjust. So I'm going to want to adjust this this yellowish green here, and I'm just going to create a rough selection around this. Obviously your selection is going to be much cleaner than mine is. But yeah, so whatever you guys use, pen tool, lasso tool, I use the pen tool just to get in there, get the most accurate selection around whatever I'm working with. But yeah, so this is pretty much almost fully selected. I know I said it was going to be rough, but I'm pretty much making it as accurate as I can while keeping the tutorial kind of short. So yeah, once we have a decent selection here, we're gonna hit right click, we're gonna hit make selection, we're gonna hit OK. You can feather the radius if you want, just a bit, since it's not gonna always be 100% perfect. If you want to feather it to 3 pixels, that's fine as well. But what you're gonna do is when this selection is selected, you're gonna come into image, adjustments, hue and saturation rather than replace color. You're gonna hit colorize, and then you're pretty much gonna make your adjustments with this. So I put the hue all the way down to red. I'm going to bump up the saturation and then turn down the lightness again, and you can see that we now have the same maroon color. But I think for this I'm just going to turn down the lightness almost entirely, just because it is a different part of his armor. So I want to make that just a little bit darker than the armor. Now you can see that it's not 100% perfect. This was mostly due to my selection. If your selection isn't 100% perfect, you can feather the radius a little bit more. Don't go too crazy with it though. But yeah, and then one more thing you can also do is, if you want to do the replace color option, you can use the lasso tool. You can kind of make a quick selection around something like so. You can come into image, adjustments, replace color, and then you can kind of see this here. So if I wanted to select this yellow, you hit OK, and now I can adjust the hue of the yellow from here. I can turn down the saturation, blow out the saturation. I can adjust this to more of an orange if I wanted. So yeah, there's tons of ways you can do, tons of things you can do with this tool. So yeah, you can see now that that's all good to go. But yeah, I would definitely say these two techniques combined will probably give you the most accurate and the best looking results. There's also different ways you can do this too. You can come into image, adjustments, you can use selective color. Say we wanted to adjust the oranges here, we can come into yellows. You can take this, you can use the cyan slider to add or delete. You can bump up the saturation, add some magenta, add some more yellow. You know, there's tons of different things you can do with the selective color option as well. But for the sake of the tutorial and for the sake of our colors, the citizens colors, I like using replace color the best. I think it's the most accurate, and I think it's going to work well for you guys as well. That's pretty much it, guys, though. Thanks for tuning in. If you liked the video, feel free to share it with your friends. Subscribe to our channel. I will be doing a lot more design tutorials on kind of the citizen style guide, how I like to use different techniques and apply them to our designs. But yeah, feel free to pass the video around, and thanks for watching.